Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of Teachers Tell It All. I'm so excited to be here and to be sharing all of my teaching experiences along with many other teachers' experiences throughout this podcast. I wanted to start off my first podcast with just support in the subset 3 for Spanish BLCAD testing in California. So just to reiterate, this is for California BLCAD, it's subset 3. In order to get your BLCAD in California, you have to take 3 tests unless you go to school for the authorization. You have to take 3 tests. It's BLCAD 3, 4, and 5. Which I will have to take in the near future. So this is just a first of 3 parts of what it's going to be like to get the BLCAD. And of course, I'll let you guys know if I passed it or not because it was hard. Okay, so let's get into it. I want to tell you the different parts that I had to do. This is all unedited information, so bear with me because this was my first time taking the test. So I just want to give you guys general information because every time I looked up anything that had to do with this subtest, there's like almost nothing. And then when there is something, it's like very vague. Of course, as you know, like Pearson pushes out these tests and changes out the tests and the questions, but I will tell you the questions that I received so that maybe it can help you in your path to studying. Okay, so I walk in there and there's like a headset. Like, girl, I was about to play GTA or something. Like, it was like the little headset that your boyfriends wear with the little speaky piece. And I was like, no way I'm going to go in here right now and they're going to make me talk in front of all the other people in the room. I was thinking it was going to be like a person to person, like testing me on my Spanish. No, honey, you're going to record yourself. So they're going to have you record yourself. Now, I will say I was a little bit shy when I went to talk because I was like, oh my God, people can hear me. I'm getting nervous. Like, what the heck? And then I could also hear other people around me in the room. And I'm not going to lie, it was also very distracting. So just train yourself for that because it's going to be something that is going to, unless you test with no one in the room or your testing setting is different. My testing setting, I had to do it within a room with many people. Okay, so the first thing that they did was they asked me the questions and I had to speak verbally. I really didn't think that was going to be the first thing they were going to make me do. I was like, wait, already? I thought this was going to be at the end, but it wasn't. It was in the very beginning. And so they started off by asking me a question. They asked me about the mass media in the United States and what I think about it. And they asked me to respond in Spanish and then to analyze, like, the different effects that it has on our country, which, again, kind of caught off guard. At one point, I was like, girl, how do you say mass media in Spanish? And this is coming from like, I'm first generation, but Spanish was not my first language. Like, my dad was from California, and so was his family. So we spoke a lot of English, and then my mom was the one who spoke Spanish. So it was my second language. I like to say that I know how to speak it, lo sé hablar con los padres, whatever. Like, I know how to talk to people. I know how to communicate. I know how to listen. I know how to read. And girl, I thought I knew how to write, but I guess not. So that was the first question. Second question was they asked me about a performance that I've attended and to give them information about the performance. And I was like, performance, how do you say that? I ended up saying obra, which I guess in turn I try my best. Okay, I try my best. Now, this next part was the section where you listen to a sentence or two. Somebody speaks it to you in your headset, and then you have to respond with what they're talking about or what you would answer to what they were saying, right? And so it's just like finding the topic. So if you know, it's like listening comprehension. So like if you know how to speak Spanish, you'll be able, that part is super, super simple. The next part for me was they had two people, they were having a conversation about, I believe it was him trying to exercise and eat healthy. And so they were talking back and forth. And what I had to do was I had to write in Spanish what they were talking about and why why this was like the discussion and who thought what, whose opinion was what. Now, the cool thing about this was that you could write it and type it in English or Spanish. I did one in English and one in Spanish because I was like, what if I don't do it in Spanish? And then they don't think I can write in Spanish, right? And this is what I'm thinking the whole time. Girl, until I got to the end and I had to type a whole thingy in Spanish. Don't even get me started. Anyway, so after that part with the speaky and like the typing what they were talking about, it moved on to reading comprehension. Now, me in general with reading, like, I really have to be interested in what they're saying, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna read a book on the weekend. Like, I'm just not. I read a lot. I was in college for 6 years. Like, I'm just not gonna do it. Okay? Don't judge me. But anyway, oh my god. So I was reading the reading comprehension, and I had to read and then answer questions. That was all good and dandy. The paragraphs were like this long, lots of words, lots of information, until I got to the poetry. Okay, now I know the dichos and, like, you know, whatever what does my mom say? Dime con quién andas y te diré que quién eres. Yeah, that one. It's like, I know the dichos. Like, I know the metaphors and, like, okay, this meant this is the symbol for this, right? And so I knew that. But girl, this poetry that they had me reading this poetry with a ton of like personifications, similes, metaphors within the poem, and then I had to answer questions about it. This was the most challenging part for me because I'm like, I don't know what half of this language means. I also don't even think my mom, who was born in Mexico and learned Spanish, and it was her first language and it was like her thing and it's still her dominant language, could understand what the poetry was. And so it kind of made me start thinking, I'm like, do they want me to pass this? Like, as a like Chicana that was not born Mexican American, that was not born in Mexico, where, you know, Spanish was not my second language, like, do they really want me to pass this? Because no one I'm sorry, but no one in California is talking like that. There's no way. With the words that they were using in that paragraph, no one is talking like that. And so I think that's the part where I had the most challenging time, is that, like, my family, we use a lot of slang. And so some of the words, I was like, what does that mean? Right? And so that was kind of that's what had me stumped. And I kind of sat there and I was like, it's okay. You got this. It's fine. You've done good. Keep going. Got through that part. Final part was I had to write 2 responses to, like, prompts. And so the first prompt was, do you think that it is a good idea, or do you think it's beneficial for high school students in the United States to learn a second language, and why? Right? So I wrote that. It was, honestly, that one was pretty simple. Again, it's just like thinking about the acentos and thinking about, like, how to spell certain things, which ones have the switches of the Z to C, Z, all of that. Okay, so the last question was, how has technology advancement helped develop and bring, like, technology evolution to, like, a Spanish speaking country? And this was rough because I was like, what? So I put celulares. I mean, I don't know, right? I was like, celulares. Like, my grandma loves her celular. Like, she be FaceTiming people. She's on Facebook, Candy Crush. Like, that is what brings advancement. Now, I don't know, but that's what I said. And I said it helps and it allows people in Mexico to be more, like, al corriente with, like, the news that is happening in other parts of the world. Whereas before, you know, like, Mexico, there was a lot of people that were behind in fashion and like TV shows, famous people, and news in general. And so that's what I said. Now, one thing that I did do as a strategy throughout the test is, on my little notebook, I was writing words within the sections that I felt I could use within my essay so that I made sure to spell them correctly. So for example, they use the word joven a lot, and I wanted to make sure I got the acento right. So I would write it on my little notebook and be like joven and put like the little acento so I wouldn't forget, right? And so like little words that I'm like, okay, that word I'm probably going to use it. I'm going to just jot it down so that I can put it into my essay with writing. Girl, I don't know if that really helped me at the end of the day, but again, like I said, it was different in the sense of like, it's not the kind of Spanish that we think that it is. And those of you guys who are fluent and you're like, girl, why didn't you pass it? Or like, I mean, obviously I don't know if I passed it, but it was so easy. For me, it wasn't easy just because, again, like I said, it wasn't my first language. I am fluent in it. I know how to read it. I know how to write most of it. It's just the accents and stuff that gets me a little bit confused. I also try to watch like YouTube videos about people with talking about acentos. Girl, I still couldn't get it. I was like, graves, like what? The second syllable, I don't know. So I try my best. I know you're going to do a great job. The study guide I used was on study.com. It did help. I did take things that I learned from study.com and I did use those on the test. It was $50 for like a 1-month subscription, which is a little high on, if you ask me, but it was definitely worth it. It did get my juices flowing. I started thinking about words that maybe I hadn't used in a long time. But yeah, that is my story. That's my personal take. I know everybody has a different experience. If you have any tools or things like that that could help anybody in the comments, please comment it. We are in this together, and I really want everyone to do a great job on this test. And I'm glad that I was able to take it so that I can help you guys. And hopefully I passed it. Fingers crossed. Pray for me.